All right, then. We've heard from the politicians on all sides, but where the rubber meets the road for many people looking at today's budget, can their business, their employers, their employees hang on until better days arrive? Well, let's ask three small business people facing exactly those questions. In Thunder Bay, Ontario, Tony Muya, owner of Serenity Salon and Wellness. In the nation's capital, Michael Wood, small business advocate and a partner with the company Ottawa Special Events. And here in the provincial capital, Ginger Robertson, co-owner of the Edmund Burke Pub and Off the Hook restaurant, both in the city's East End. And we're really grateful to you three for coming on to TVO tonight and sharing your wisdom with us. We want to start by just putting a little bit of background on the record for you and our viewers to get a hold of here. Sheldon, let's bring this graphic up. In the year 2020, 58,000 small businesses closed their doors. Thank you, COVID-19. Today, 1 in 6. That's about 181,000 are at risk of closing for good. 62% of businesses in Canada report being fully open. 44% of businesses report being fully staffed. The average small business is now $170,000 in debt. And Canada could lose 20% of its small businesses by the end of the pandemic as a direct result of the virus, so says the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. All right, let's go through this. Tony, start us off. How bad has COVID-19 been for your business?
It's been absolutely catastrophic, not just business-wise, but personally. What's happened for us is our numbers are so far down, it's crazy. What's worse, more than our numbers being down, is what the Ontario government has done to really ruin the importance of being a hairstylist or a spa technician in Thunder Bay. We are only 4 different businesses that are still closed in the gray zone. So many of my friends and I, we walk around and think, you know, we're almost better off dead than we are alive. We're worth more dead than we are alive, like the movie It's a Wonderful Life. It's sad. My numbers are so far down. I'm down over $70,000 just in the first 3 months of this year. We've only been open for 2 weeks. And what the government proposed today with the new budget of an additional $10,000 to $20,000 doesn't even scrape the surface. It's not going to help us at all. That's not even close to what we were thinking was going to happen.
Okay, Tony, thank you for setting the scene. We'll obviously follow up and find more details as we go along. Michael, how about you? What's your story?
I can echo a lot of what Tony just said. I own Ottawa Special Events. We are an event rental company, so we rent stages and sound and lighting, pipe and drape, tables, chairs. And, you know, with the crushing numbers of public gatherings, it's really hard for us to operate. In 2020, we were down 97%, which equates to over $3 million. And we unfortunately had to lay off our entire staff of 22 people last March. And except for some piecemeal stuff here and there, we haven't been able to bring anybody back yet. If
you're down 97%, how are you even alive at all?
It's a great question. You know, we've been able to negotiate with some of the creditors along the way. And at the same time, too, we've had the odd thing come in. Our landlord, at the time when landlords perhaps weren't being as favorable to small business as others, ours was incredible. Ours said they were right there with us. And so, you know, we've worked really hard to get the little amount of business to cover our operating costs.
Gotcha. Ginger, how about you? What's COVID done to your 2 establishments?
Well, Off the Hook, we purchased March 9th of 2020.
You're kidding.
No, so it was devastating right off the hop for us. That graphic you threw up at the beginning is a painful reminder of how much trouble we're actually in. And some of those permanently closed businesses are some of my friends, you know, in the business. And what was announced today it's pathetic.
The word is pathetic, eh?
Yep. We didn't even get the grant that they were talking about at Off the Hook because we own the second business and we're considered an enterprise. So we're only going to get support for one of our restaurants and not the other. It's like saying you have a house and a cottage and now you're a real estate mogul. Now, it's so unfair.
Okay, explain that to us. How come you only get for one property but not for the other?
Because there's some fine print in the application that states that if your corporate structure is similar in your 2 businesses, and in my case, my husband and I own both restaurants 50-50. So the that we are considered a related enterprise, and therefore one of the businesses is denied.
Do I take it if you had to do it again, you would not have purchased the other business you did on March the 9th of last year?
Well, hindsight's always 2020,
Ain't
right?
it though? 2020 in the year 2020. Yikes. Okay, Mike, do I hear this right? You actually partook in budget consultations with either the minister or the Ministry of Finance. Can you take us through that?
Absolutely. So I was fortunate to be one of the people in Ottawa that was selected to present the case, the small business case, to the Minister of Finance. On that call was also the mayor and the Board of Trade and other key stakeholders in the business world in Ottawa. And, I was able to present some key things that I thought were extremely important. The idea, Steve, that this grant program, that one size fits all, just doesn't work. So that was one of my key speaking points, that we need the grant to, run a second time, maybe a third time, depending on these variants and other things, more education. If people lose their businesses through no fault of their own, they should be awarded the opportunity to go back to post-secondary and re-educate themselves for a new career. So it was a great experience, and I went and traded for the world.
How much of that advice did you see reflected in today's budget?
Great question. Obviously, the grant came out that if you had qualified once, you would get it again. We see that there's more training. I also spoke very similar to the federal HASCAP program for highly affected sectors. I did ask for something for the province to do the same. And, we did see something for the travel and tourism world that will be made announcement will be coming shortly.
Okay, Tony, let me go back up to you in Northwestern Ontario. The government did announce today a second round of the small business support grant payments. That's $10,000 to $20,000, $1.7 billion altogether if you consider the entire province. How helpful will that be to your efforts?
As far as the $20,000 grant that the Ontario government is going to give us, hopefully, if we qualify, I think that's great. Although what I really would like to see is what the federal government has done with their $40,000 loan with a $20,000 grant. If we could repay the $40,000, which absolutely nobody can unless we take a loan out, is not going to happen. So we'd like to see the Ontario government to lean on the federal government to turn that loan into a grant for us as well of non-repayment, only for the businesses, I will add, in my opinion, that are still closed, because some businesses have been allowed to reopen and do have cash flow coming in. We have zero cash flow coming in. My biggest issue here, and our Federation of Hairdressers and Barbers in Thunder Bay, is the future of our industry. We are going to face an absolute onslaught of people getting out of our industry that are already in it, and people not wanting to become hairstylists, because at the end of the day, we're not essential. The next time there's a pandemic, the next time there's anything, what the government has painted our hairdressing community and spa and gyms is we are not necessary at all.
How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this for 32 years.
32 years.
Traveled
Tony,
32 years.
Talk to us about the next generation, though. You've been at this a long time. Would you give advice to anybody to go into this line of work today?
Unless the Ontario government and the federal government put forth some kind of platform that makes our industry a viable industry that can work, absolutely not. I would not recommend anybody to get into this industry, because I had a full book making great money. I felt so important to my guests. My guests love coming in. And at this point right now, our industry is nothing. We're deemed as, we don't need you. And it's just seemed like it's been 6.5 months that we've been closed out of 12. And at the end of the day, the government has shown no effort whatsoever, even when I read all the money that they're putting forth to retrain people. But how about some money putting forth to put the confidence back into the next generation of kids coming up and young adults to actually get into our industry, because it is an amazing industry. There's nothing in this budget that allows for money to bring back the sense that this is an actual professional industry. That's a viable, necessary industry. And that's a big shortfall for Mr. Ford and his cabinet today.
Ginger, I got a bit of a tricky question for you here, so buckle up, as they say. We're a year into this pandemic. How would you describe this Premier's record on assisting small business?
Am I giving him a grade? It's not a good one. Like if we ran our businesses this way, we wouldn't be in business. I mean, I don't think you can, like, let's just take all of the relief on all levels of government right now. It's based on revenue. So we bought a business that was around for 10 years. The last 2 years of that business wasn't great. The previous owner wasn't open, the same hours we are. We're open longer than he is. We have a bigger menu. There's lots of reasons why our revenue is up, but revenue doesn't equal profit. You're talking about a whole slew of other expenses. We have takeout containers. We have all this PPE. There's like a whole giant sector of stuff we have to buy that we'd never, had to do before. So revenue being up is not a good indicator that someone's, doing great.
I hear you.
We're surviving.
I hear you, but the government also says we are helping people have an online presence. They've spent millions on that. They've said that they've been prepared to help people purchase PPE and other specifics to retrofit your establishment to make it more COVID-19 friendly, if I can put it that way. Has any of that been helpful?
I mean, a box of gloves that used to cost $50 is now $280. So that $1,000 is pretty much gone in a month, just from disposable items, masks, all the things. So, I'm grateful for anything that we are given, but I agree. It's not a one size fits all for everybody. Like we're not, you shouldn't be basing it just strictly on revenue. This has to be on a case by case basis in some instances for sure. Like the selling, us being allowed to sell alcohol. I can't go online. I sell wings and fish and chips. Like we do takeout and that's all we can do. The pub we closed because we were losing money every day. It's a place you go to socialize. It's a lot of regulars. It's an industry bar. So for us, that's, we obviously can't go online. So I don't know. I just feel like the selling of alcohol, there's an LCBO across the street from my restaurant. No one's coming in to buy retail priced alcohol when they can go across the street and get it for less. So that's not a big help. Capping delivery fees, I will say, if that actually happens, would be a huge help. But we have to remember there was 5 months before this, which is where we all accumulated our debt, where we didn't get any help when the landlords weren't giving us a break on rent because it was up to them to decide. There were no loans, there were no grants, there was no PPE. We did all that already without help. That's where we all got into trouble.
Michael, let me ask you what you think the province could be doing that isn't doing yet that you think would be helpful?
Well, I've been advocating for small business for a year now. And, one of the things that Ginger just said was that alcohol being purchased in a restaurant is at a retail price. I think if we want to help the restaurants, there really is not a cost, if you will, a cost price for alcohol for restaurants and bars. There's some savings, but not significant enough. So I think that if the government were to go back and re-examine the relationships between the hospitality world and the LCBO, I think that would be helpful. I think that we're going to continue to need energy support for hydro and gas moving forward. And one of the things, getting back to the presentation towards the province, that, the gap in the rent subsidy, I did ask the province to backfill that. There's 35% in rent that small business owners need to still come up with. And if you're like Tony and myself and you have limited to no cash flow, I don't know where that 35% is supposed to come from. So, I'm going to continue to push the government for more support, more financial support. And, as this continues for Steve, I think we're going to need a lot of mental health support moving forward as well.
Well, there is something in today's budget that does speak to that. But I want to get back to the Premier for a second because, we haven't had that many premiers of Ontario who have been small business operators. But this guy was. I mean, this guy had a family business. They made, decals. So the thinking was he surely ought to understand the plight of small business people in the province. Do you think he does?
Well, it's a great question. And a lot of people have asked me this. When it comes to the lockdowns, I've always tried to have a balanced approach. I've been very fortunate. I've met with many people in the Premier's office and other ministers by taking a balanced approach. I had a conversation with somebody last night, and I said, I understand that as small business owners, we're not in the room while decisions are being made. We don't have all of the facts. So the facts that are made available, yes, we can either agree with or disagree with. And I think this is where small business needs to be at the table for these discussions. And so we can actually hear and ensure that everything that moving forward does help us, because there are a lot of people that need a ton of support. And I truly hope that the Premier does remember his days as a small business owner and can provide that for us.
Tony, let me get you back in here. Do you think, given the changes you know you are capable of making, do you think you could reopen your salon tomorrow and it would be a safe place for your customers to come?
We've been a safe place since day one. We followed the guidelines that our local health unit, in conjunction with the provincial government, put into place. We spent thousands of dollars in plexiglass in between stations, front desk. We spent so much money on PPEs in our salon. Having said that, being a business which right from the get-go, we are one of the cleanest industries out there. We are constantly regulated by our health unit. So we were set up from that last March. So when we got closed down again, there is nothing else that the government can put into place that makes our business any safer than what it was a year ago. That's it. There's nothing else we can do.
All right,
Zero.
so I got to ask you the follow-up question then, which is, again, this is a Premier who is a small business person, who understands the plight of small business. What does he, in your view, not get about what's going on right now?
I think the Premier of Ontario needs to actually walk into some hair salons and see what we've done. And the one thing that I have suggested to my colleagues here in Thunder Bay and surrounding area is you have to cut your staff down. I did. I only brought half of my staff back when we were allowed to open, and I went from 5 days a week to 7 days a week instead of 8-hour days to 12-hour days, and we spread everybody out. If everybody does that, and if the Premier was to put that in their mandate, that once you do get the green light to open up again, it's not 220 miles down the interstate at once. You have to come back slow. You have to social distance properly. And if we do that, there's no reason why my doors are closed. I'm happy with coming back to work with myself working in the salon, and so are my clients. I don't understand why the Premier keeps saying that it's not a safe place. It is. And that's where, again, so many people are wondering, okay, so what do we have to do as hairstylists and barbers to make this a safe place? There's nothing else safer.
Tony, I hear the, I hear the adamance and the force in your position. Did you think about opening up illegally and saying to hell with it?
Absolutely. I was going to do that actually 3 weeks ago. The local television station was here. We had done the report. I had my client. I was just about to cut her hair, and my lawyer phoned me. And my lawyer advised me against it because of the figure that I am in the community and facing the legal ramifications that I would. I was going to open up illegally, and I decided against it with the my lawyer telling me not to, because I'm at a point where there is nothing that Doug Ford or his cabinet or the health unit could say, this is what you need to do now so you can open up. We're ready. There's nothing else we could do. There isn't. So I don't know what he's waiting for. We're at a wit's end. We just feel like this government is like a gambler who goes to a casino, loses all of his money, and only has $20 left in his pocket. And instead of thinking, okay, I got that 20 bucks, I made all these mistakes, let me take those $20, go home, and start investing and start building my money up again, I'm just going to blow it all. It's almost like the Premier knows he's dropped the ball. So does his cabinet, so does our health unit, but they're too proud to admit they dropped the ball in our sector to let us go back to work. So they're just going to keep us closed. And that is wrong.
Tony, Michael, and Ginger, I can't thank you enough for joining us tonight and giving our viewers and our listeners some sense of what you've been up against over the last year. And needless to say, I wish all of you just great good fortune going forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Agenda with Steve Paikin is brought to you by the Chartered Professional Accountants of Ontario. CPA Ontario is a regulator, an educator, a thought leader, and an advocate. We protect the public. We advance our profession. We guide our CPAs. We are CPA Ontario. And by viewers like you. Thank you.